videos really feel like I'm winding down something. And as yet, I find myself looking back over 8 years and saying, you know, what has happened? What has happened? These remarkable memories resurfaced in 2010. Yes, I've had radio interviews. I've been on Channel 4, ITV Channel 4 News documentary that featured Simon Parks in 2013. It was a long interview. They then cut short. I don't care. I'm the kind of guy that I'm an orator. You know, I like to get up and just kind of. Early in my life, I had a calling. You know, I was going to be a Baptist minister, if you can believe that. I was going to be a preacher. I was 16, and I was going to be Pastor Jason Moss. I was going to go through seminary school. I was going to do all of that. It wasn't sitting in my house I came to that conclusion. I was going to a Baptist church early in my life, saved and baptized, you know, in front of everybody. And you have to stand up in front of a congregation and speak before people your affirmations for Jesus Christ. I'm Jason Moss, and then you say, I accept him as my Lord and Savior, and everyone prays, and amen, brother. That's the Baptist. Not everybody, everyone's different. You know, and I felt when I saw Pastor McKee up at the pulpit, rest his soul, he died a long time ago. I thought that's my calling. I felt very spiritual in that church. I had a very spiritual foundation within me. My grandmother was a Jehovah's Witness, and I can remember she took me to Kingdom Hall meetings when I was a little boy. I found them very comforting. Everybody was very nice, very well dressed. I loved being in the presence of my grandmother. She was a very, very comforting presence. And I just enjoyed, she would read the Bible to me. And I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that. And whenever, then my grandfather, who was the Baptist, and so she fell away from the Jehovah's Witnesses for whatever reason. And then it was a Baptist church, and then it was a Baptist churches, and then we went in. And I remember how comfortable I felt sitting in the chairs and hearing the preacher preach, and they talk, and this other world is out there, this other reality. I felt very much in touch with that growing up. I felt very deeply connected. And you could go in there and just lose yourself. It's a beautiful, very comforting environment. I really advise some of you, if you're not doing it, to try it sometime. You know, you don't have to give up anything. You will find some of the friendliest, nicest, sweetest people in those churches. I swear you will. You will. I don't know about the other faiths, so I won't speak about them. Okay? And I won't say that what I did was the right thing, and you should only be Baptist or Jehovah's Witness. Now, at 18, for a brief time in my life, I was with a study group. I had a study partner, and myself went off to become a Jehovah's Witness. And so I just thought I'd share that with you. I don't know, no other reason. You know the rest of the story. If you watch my videos, I don't think that the UFO world is really getting on the ball anymore. There's a lot of people are now dead and dying or dead. And some of the veteran researchers, like the great Mary Rodwell, they're not going to be here forever. Jim O'Connell dying at 48. You know, there's too many of us gone. And then there's that issue. I just said us. Is he really one of those out there? Well, I've been on radio interviews. I've got books out. I've been on television. So what? It doesn't mean anything. I don't think you really can get anything from an experiencer unless they've got a YouTube video account and are out making these videos. The daily blog videos. I've got lots of videos out, but Steve Huff of the Huff Post, a great researcher, I like him a whole lot. I'm a big admirer of his, and the work he's done is amazing. He's connected to that other world. He's done a wonderful job. He's got over 700 videos out. I've got a smattering of a few hundred. I do have a lot of videos I've got private, and then I've got a lot of videos that I feel are pertinent. So what's a guy like me with a past like that doing here talking about aliens the last 8 years and a love affair with an alien girl? Because it's true. Because it doesn't matter if I've gone to radio or TV. The problem with the UFO world now is, like my opinion. You want to hear my opinion? Validation seems more important than credibility is the problem. People seem to be more interested in being validated than are we dealing with credible people. And I think credibility can be found in many ways. I could have told this story about Beniicos with one long 2-hour video 8 years ago when the memories resurfaced and left it at that and never said anything again. But 8 years on, if I were to share that video and say, here's a video I did 8 years ago, I don't know if you would have found that very credible. I wouldn't have done. And I don't feel it does a justification of the love I feel for Beniicos. I am in love with her. And every time I say that to the public, it's just feels good. I'm getting pleasure out of saying that. And I could do that all day. Is it wrong? No. No. I get comfort. I get everything I need out of her. I'm not some disillusioned, lost, backslided Christian. This isn't a faith or religion. And I don't want to go down that road. Oh, what it is, what is it? I've had a fun 8 years, let me tell you. I've had a lot of people want to throw a net over my head and lock me up. In England, in fact. I guess I'm glad they've changed the section laws, the laws on mental health laws, because there was a time 10 years ago, just recent 10 years ago, you really can't say any of this to the public. 10 years ago, the laws in England, I'm an American, I live in England, also known as Great Britain. It's kind of like saying, I'm in Texas of the United States. England is part of Great Britain, which is all these little Commonwealth places. They're not states. What are they? These look, I just for a minute sound like I know what I'm talking about. I've been here 20 years and I don't know. Commonwealth provinces, yeah. And the Scottish are fighting for independence. Good for them. But there were laws just recently that would have had me locked up in the nut house if I went public then and said those things. I would have probably ended up spending 3 or 4 months. Because back in those days, the police had the power to pick people up. But who's that? Who's knocking at my door? Shh. I knew this day would come. I'll sit quietly. They don't know I'm in here. Shh. Nobody's home. That won't work for your mental health arrest. What does a guy do that has a love affair with a girl from another reality? Well, yes, she's a higher frequency being, star child, star seed, entity, person, alien hybrid girl, with some human DNA or whatever, higher frequency mind and body, so she's resonating. which because of higher frequencies in a higher dimension, but she can interact with us at certain levels. So, but she's also in a geographic location too, and that was down here in the Felixstowe Forest, and she was always there. So it's a time loop, causality space-time loop. We're meeting for the first time in 2018, although my experiences of her meeting her resurfaced in 2010 of an experience of 1992, and she made the claim that she'd been interacting with me all my life. It's a bit of it knocks your head around, don't it? But this is actually where it began. So everything that's happened in my life up until this point had to happen, okay? Whether I like it or not. She's beautiful, and I love her very much. We've had a lot of contact of recent times, and I don't want to confuse you. I mean, in human mythology, there are stories of the daughters of the goddess Dana that were said to be part human, that were given tasks to guard the human race and teach them about love and magic. Then there was, and they were also known as the Tuatha Danann, which means the children of the goddess Dana of Celtic mythology. And they lived in forests. And the French coined the term fairies. And they have been here a long time. Now, if I'm having time loop issues about when we met, you can well imagine that although many of them made in the 20th century through the hybridization program, have moved through human history quite a bit and interacted with humanity in ways that has helped the human race and helped develop the human race. After all, if you want contact with the human race, you want to kind of give them a helping hand in their history. If you've got access to time travel, it's like the internet. Of course, you're gonna do it. There's also the legend of Lilith, allegedly Adam's first wife before Eve, and they had children, and they are also the same crowd. Then there's the Tibetans who said that there's these women who were carried away into these caves by these deities from below ground that then mated with these women, and they gave birth to what's called the Chenrezi, the Latrog. It means the compassionate children, the God children. Yeah, I love her, I do. I'm in love with her. And this year has been one of the most amazing years in this whole thing. And I said I feel like I'm winding down. I know she said I'm going to go away with her, and at some point I will. I know that the world is full of issues. I know about the Kavanaugh issues and the Senate hearings, and I watched that tonight on CNN, and I know about President Trump's tweets, and I'm not out of touch with things. I know what's going on, and I shouldn't expect to get a large base of following in something like this, and have a lot of people out there subscribing to that guy. You want to get on YouTube and subscribe to J.P. Moss. He got a love affair with an alien. Go on, get out there. Hurry, get his latest video. They're all banging on the door to hear me talk. As I said, I don't think radio interviews and television spots or documentaries are really going to get you to know the experiencer quite the way that you can with me. It is a lot of work, and it asks a lot of people to be this public and go out there. But I do believe that overall, many people who are non-experiencers will benefit in the long run. And getting to know a guy like me through these videos and watching me and interacting with me, you'll get something. You'll come away with something. Conferences are nice. You can meet me face to face. If I get invited to a conference, I'll do one. But people aren't out for a lot of the talk. They want the evidence, and I have the evidence. But the EVP recordings of Benico are a little private. And at the moment, I'm withholding them for personal reasons. There are a lot of personal things that we're saying to each other, and they're very sweet. My son walked up to me with a video last night of a segment from the movie Fire in the Sky, where the aliens are grabbing Travis Walton, and he's in the spaceship. It's awful. It's a terrible experience. And even then, people said that's not based on Travis's actual experiences. That some of that's embellished Hollywood glamour. I don't know. And that also says many things, real or not, and on what we're seeing. It's what sells. Okay. Now, if I were making video after video of the moment that I stepped into the forest and the aliens picked me up, threw me against a tree repeatedly 5 or 6 times, and then shot laser beams through my chest and out my ass, and then shot a probe through my eye, and then in the spaceship stuck this thing up my ass, these probes. What would I probably have? I'd come back and tell that story, and this happens to me every time I go out there. If I did all these videos like that, there would be 50,000 subscribers overnight. So every one of you are very special to me. I mean, you're very special because you know what? You're the circle of love. If you're listening to me, you listen to this. It's like the congregation of love. You're involved for that reason. I don't want to be the preacher of a congregation of people that are out for blood, gore, violence, and the latest Terminator film, Hellraiser. We will tear you apart. We're aliens. We're gonna kill you. If you're after the DNA, wouldn't it just be easier just to take like a little scrape right here and put me on the side of the road? You have to do all the other. I've had some questions about that. Why does it have to be so involved? I don't know. It's not a religion. I'm in love with her. You can listen to me, or you don't have to. You can unsubscribe. You can subscribe. I don't care. I care. Thank you for being here. I do love her very much. I have taken a beating. Let's talk about that. I've taken a beating. Dating is impossible. You can't date if you're me. This is the biggest birth control next to condoms. Because you can't, or oh no, even better than that, wearing nerdy glasses and high-heeled shoes to correct your spine and watch Star Trek all day. That's the best birth control. Because you don't even have a woman in your life at this point. You haven't even kissed a girl. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Other than the fact that I love her very much, and I'm very glad for the connection. We've reestablished a more open one-on-one connection this year. But like I said, I'm glad for what's happening. I don't feel, like I said, I'd rather be in a room of a few people saying this too, that appreciate love and appreciate what that means. And sharing love is always very special. So you're a part of this. You're all a part of this. So it doesn't have to be millions of subscribers. I mean, I do think the public does tend to go for the scandal, the sex, the drugs, the evil, the violence, the killing, and everybody wants to see pictures of it. The internet is full of very frightening things, very terrifying images out there. Not that I've seen them personally, but I have researched, and I know from people I've spoke to what they have reported, and I've come to trust their word. And it is sad. It's really sad. I'm like, the animalistic nature of the human race, this predatorial, ape-like, you know, we're humans. Humans. Nobody. You know, how many people they can. I got one, and here's the video of it. Okay, idiots. This ape-like chimpanzee gorilla thinking of the human race. Beat on the chest, swinging from a rope. I like that too. There's a lot of that now. There's a lot of emphasis on sex and being muscled and virile. Very, you know. Okay, ladies. Subscribe to my channel, jockhunk.org. And there's too much of a divide, a bipartisan divide between not Republicans and Democrats, but those people and then the intellectuals, you know, that sit around and, you know, they grow mushrooms. They're 48 years old and they still live with their parents, play video games and don't get out and don't date and just. I've got 3 PhDs. I've got one in medicine, psychology, and physics. Really? I'm also president of all the Star Trek fan clubs, and I've seen a girl. I've seen girls. The closest I came to the opposite sex was in the year 19 something, and we were going to date. Well, I in my mind I said this. We were going to date. You know, you got these really dingling, out of touch brainiacs. I'm like, well, I don't know why. I maybe because the human race lacks that element of telepathy. And if there was telepathy, you could really get more in touch with each other. You know, and you would really get involved in a more deeper way. Or like one YouTube subscriber said recently, I want an alien girlfriend too. Well, why not? I've got one. And I was funny about saying that for a long time. Someone asked me that question about the mother issue of Beniicos, the DNA, and is she a girlfriend? And even recently, before this recent contact with her has been reestablished. Am I sitting a bit low? This chair's a bit low. Look, I'm down here. Okay. So anyways, I'm only 4'11". For my YouTube subscribers, if you don't already know. My chair, well now this is silly. I pulled my chair way up here. So anyways, as I was saying, I was a bit weary. I was a bit reserved about saying she's my my girlfriend. I was very funny about that, but until I had more, I had the contact with her over the years. I could feel the psychic connection, the channeling. But until I had something like I have this year, which is quite overwhelming and incredible, I didn't want to say that, but she is. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Peace and love to you all. We send our very best.